Hello and welcome to World Today. I'm Geeta Mohan and the top story today is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's two-nation tour. But let's unpack what's happening right now in Paris. Prime Minister Modi reached Paris just a while ago and now he was headed to his hotel. He has reached his hotel and look, that's the visuals that everybody was waiting for. Prime Minister Narendra Modi being welcomed by the Indian diaspora right outside the hotel. This is just ahead of two very important things that are going to take place in France. One is the AI Action Summit that will be held in Paris. And the second one is the bilateral meeting that will take place in Marseille, where a new Indian consulate will also be opened. And French President Macron will be there for both important events. Prime Minister Narendra Modi there being welcomed not just with the visuals, but also look at the burst of color. We've seen him. He got the Guard of Honor and was received with a very warm welcome at the airport. But these are visuals of color where Prime Minister Narendra Modi being welcomed by the Indian community with all the pomp and circumstance that one would expect, not just the Indian tricolour, but look at the clothes that they're wearing, the dholak, all of that and more. We'll certainly be getting a lot. Let's just listen in to what the Indian community over there is saying right now. Modi, Modi. That's Prime Minister Narendra Modi being received in Paris right outside his hotel. Gaurav Sawant, Managing Editor India Today TV, joins us for more on what is there to unpack on this very important, crucial two-nation tour. The first 2 days are going to be in France. Gaurav, the visuals are not something that we've not seen before. It's been a part of every Modi tour, Indian community and engaging the Indian community. But unpack what we are to expect from this visit.
So let's split this in two parts. First is the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit, and India is the co-chair. France is chairing this summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the French President Emmanuel Macron, the co-chair, the Prime Minister is the co-chair of this. Very, very significant, where rules of the AI game are being framed. And there are very powerful people in that room, from top tech CEOs to... let's talk about the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz. He'll be there. The Chinese Vice Premier will be there. J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President, will be there. His first foreign tour. And as America pushes for more opening of the world for AI and Europe pushes for more, perhaps, regulations, India's big push remains, Geeta, on the global south, on developing countries having a slice of that pie. It shouldn't just be pocketed by the big two or the big countries in the world. China is a big player. America is a big player. Europe, of course, will get its way through. But what about developing countries? So while India has a 10,000 crore rupee artificial intelligence Make in India and Make for India program, India is also pushing for more equitable rules of the game for everyone. What will the governance architecture be like? How do you make it reliable? Right. How do you fight deep fakes? These are some issues that India and the world will be grappling with on that high table tomorrow.
Right. But Gaurav, you just spoke about global south and inclusivity, democratization of the artificial intelligence world. The Chinese Vice Premier is also going to be there. How is the world then looking at containing the revolution that could disrupt the AI sector, as also then look at convergences and taking everybody along? Are we looking at India bettering itself and the West bettering themselves when it comes to China?
Well, India speaks for developing countries. India speaks from a position where India leads by example, and that's exactly what we'll see on that high table. Some of the top tech CEOs across the world are of Indian origin. Prime Minister has repeatedly interacted with them, spoken of the need for why developing countries need to be a part of the architecture where they have access to everything. And artificial intelligence impacts everything. While we may talk about energy, while we may talk about warfare, while we may talk about war, medicines, supply chains, resilient supply chains, artificial intelligence will play a very, very significant role in all of these and more. So that is why India is insisting that developing countries should have equal and equitable access to technology, to artificial intelligence. And that's one part of the story. The second part and the second leg, equally very important, military hardware that India seeks from France. And there's conversation at a very advanced stage for, let's say, 26 Rafale Marines for the Indian Navy, or the 3 additional Scorpene submarines for the Indian Navy. When you talk about people-to-people contact, the images that we see on our television screens, there's an Indian consulate for the first time coming up in Marseille, and that's again very big. The location of the Indian consulate, the access to Europe, the access to Africa, the access to the world from Marseille. IMEC is something that we've been talking about. So all of this is very, very significant as the Prime Minister's first leg of the two-nation tour, Geeta.
Well, a significant country, a very important partner for India. What does it hold for India? Gaurav was just spelling it out. Gaurav, stay on with us. Let's just take you through the agenda. This is a two-day summit, meeting and a visit, but a very important one at that. So he lands. There is going to be a VVIP dinner tonight, but then the day starts tomorrow with Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chairing the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit. This is going to be a very important one because what he says in that summit is going to be crucial. It's going to be important to see how India is going to talk about inclusivity and democracy and respecting all of that in the AI sector. The other very important part is holding talks with French President Macron. Those talks are going to be important because they are going to be held in Marseille, which is where he's going to inaugurate the first Indian consulate there. A very important part of Indian foreign policy now has been to expand its missions in various parts, and that's what they're going to do. They're also going to visit the leadership. And in all this, it's not just Prime Minister. President Macron is accompanying him in all those visits. Prime Minister is to visit the thermonuclear experimental reactor project. This comes when we are looking at small modular reactors that are to come to India. He is then he always chooses a very important aspect of history. Over here, he'll be paying tribute to Indian soldiers at Mazgar War Cemetery. So it is going to be a very important visit, which involves not just engagement and engaging, but also how the two sides are looking at cooperation in the defense, strategic, and various other sectors. So that's an important aspect. Big defense deals on the cards between India and France. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in France to chair the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit as well as for the bilateral meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. Announcements on defense and nuclear projects are expected. More in this report.
A deal for 26 Rafale's M fighters for the Indian Navy, and a deal for 3 more Indian-built Scorpene submarines. 2 deals worth an eye-watering 90,000 crore for advanced fighters and submarines is what's on the table when Modi arrives in France. Modi is attending the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit in Paris. But the real meat of the visit are his discussions with the French President to finalize the 2 critical defense deals. The Indian Navy, which currently operates Russian MiG-29K deck-based fighters, is set to enhance its capabilities with the much more advanced Rafale M, a jet specifically designed for fast-paced naval operations. The new jets will operate from both of India's aircraft carriers, INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. Meanwhile, the 3 Scorpene-class submarines follow 6 that have already been built under license at Mumbai's Mazagaon dock. The last of the 6 INS Vakshir entered service in the presence of the Prime Minister in Mumbai last month. The order for 3 additional submarines ensures the precious production line remains busy for the foreseeable future. While Modi and Macron will finalize the deals over the next 2 days, the actual contracts will be signed in April when the French Defence Minister visits India. India operates a wide variety of French-origin weapons, including Mirage 2000 fighters, Jaguar fight bombers, Cheetah and Chetak light utility helicopters. But while India has only been an importer of French hardware so far, there are signs that this could change. Recent reports suggest the French army is looking at India's Pinaka rocket system and could be considering other Indian-made items too. And now with a 90,000 crore rupee top-up, the Indian-France defence trade relationship has never been bigger. Bureau Report, India Today.
It's a big moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be co-chairing the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit, also known as the AI Summit, with French President Emmanuel Macron. The 2-day summit will be held at the Grand Palais in Paris and will be attended by over 1,500 guests, including more than 100 world leaders. The Paris AI Summit comes at a time when the AI rivalry between the West and China is at a tipping point, with low-cost DeepSeek AI competing with leading Western alternatives such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. The summit will be an opportunity for France and India to showcase their soft power in an area that is likely to be a game-changer in the not-too-distant future.
Before Prime Minister Narendra Modi has his much-anticipated bilateral talks with US President Donald Trump later this week, he will be making a crucial stop in France. The 2-day Global Artificial Intelligence Action Summit is already underway in Paris, and on Tuesday the Prime Minister will co-chair the summit with French President Emmanuel Macron. Previously held in England and South Korea, the summit will try and set the path ahead for this evolutionary technology. The AI summit is being attended by heads of state, top government officials, CEOs and scientists from more than 100 countries.
We are interested in AI applications that are designed, developed, deployed and used in a safe, humane, responsible and trustworthy manner. There are, of course, issues related to the inclusive use and application.
Other than Prime Minister Modi, US Vice President J.D. Vance and Chinese Vice Premier Zhang Zhuoqing are expected to have dinner on Monday with select CEOs. Companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft are at the summit. Elon Musk's attendance is not confirmed though. The agenda at the summit includes exploring the use of AI for positive societal impact. A big discussion will also be on how AI is shaping the workforce, from job cuts to skill enhancement. Another issue is the use of AI in innovation and research, and also how to maintain trust in AI-generated information. The most important agenda probably is deciding on how to ring-fence the new fast-developing technology and how it should be regulated. All eyes are meanwhile on world leaders to see if common ground can be found between the more than 100 nations in the summit. A non-binding communique of principles has been under negotiation and would mark a big achievement if reached. Also in the spotlight is how to distribute AI's benefits to developing nations via cheaper models made by the likes of France's startup Mistral and China's DeepSeek. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
We're talking about the AI Action Summit. How can we not then introduce our own AI anchor Sana, who has been a part of this network for some time now. Thank you so much, Sana, for joining us. Hello and welcome. You've been tracking the Artificial Intelligence Summit virtually from New Delhi into Paris. What's really happening over there? Tell us all about the AI summit.
Hello, Geeta. Thanks for having me. Well, world leaders are gathering at the Grand Palace in Paris for the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit, an event chaired by President Macron and co-chaired by Prime Minister Modi. With the who is who of the tech world, all under one roof, this is a great opportunity for them to discuss the future of AI in this ever-changing world order, the opportunities and the challenges. This would be the third such summit to be held after London in 2023 and South Korea in 2024. Prime Minister Modi is attending for the first time.
Right. So we are looking at, like you said, world leaders gathering and coming together on under one roof. But China certainly is a problem and a concern for many. Are they going to look at how to contain the AI revolution from China, coming in from China?
We will find answers after the summit concludes. Chinese Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing is also attending the event. I think what the summit wants to do is focus on areas of convergences and how AI cannot become a war zone. An AI war would spell disaster for the world.
That's interesting. But then again, we're looking at China from the prism of what's happening right now with the DeepSeek controversy. Tell me, can India better perform in the AI sector, in the AI world, than DeepSeek?
Tough one. There are already many questions being asked about DeepSeek as an AI platform, although it has indeed disrupted the AI industry. India is endeavoring to make its mark in the AI industry. But we are yet to become a global player. With all the bright Indian minds working in the AI sector across the globe, India has an opportunity to cash on it and capitalize.
Okay, that's again a very interesting point. We'll keep coming back to you for what's happening on the AI world. But for now, thank you so much for joining us, Anna. Now, right after the France visit, Prime Minister Modi will be traveling straight to America to meet the US President, President Donald Trump. This would be the first time President Trump would be meeting Prime Minister Modi since he came back into the White House for his second term. The two leaders need to iron out a mutually beneficial road ahead for enhanced strategic alliance between India and the United States of America, although there are going to be niggling issues and concerns that both leaders will raise.
Right before the Prime Minister of India left home for his two-nation tour, in his departure statement, he said, "I look forward to meeting my friend, President Trump. I have a very warm recollection of working together in his first term in building a comprehensive global strategic partnership between India and the US." With that, he set the stage for the first meeting between Modi and Trump since the latter took over the Oval Office for the second time.
Well, this is a very important visit. Basically, the visit is all about ensuring that geopolitical alignment continues. The understanding between the two countries on trade is going to be critical. Economic agenda, focus on technology transfer is going to be critical. And obviously, there are issues of illegal migration. They will be discussed.
The meeting is crucial because both sides are looking forward to easing creases that have come up in recent times.
So, despite Trump's promise to impose tariffs on imports from foreign countries, India has so far remained largely untouched. However, it's pretty clear that trade and tariffs are almost certainly going to come up in Trump's talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Also, India has already reduced tariffs on key US imports, including high-end motor vehicles, as well as certain other American commodities. Also, America's economic pressure on China is going to be a point of interest for India because it wants foreign companies to leave China and come to India and invest in India. Also, Donald Trump has been clear that he wants American firms to make in America, but this has created some tension with India's push for self-reliance and transfer of technology from American companies. There are also ongoing defense talks on producing Stryker combat vehicles and the F-35 fighter jet purchase from India's side. Russia's Sukhoi 57 fighter jets are also in the mix, and so America may express some concerns about India's military ties with Russia. America's Vice President J.D. Vance will also be in Paris for an AI summit, and the two countries could also talk about the development of artificial intelligence on the sidelines of this summit. There's also illegal immigration, on which India has already agreed to take back 104 migrants who were deported from the United States. Several hundred are expected to follow, and India has agreed to take back all illegal migrants. India will also want to secure Trump's support for the H-1B visa program, which are used by thousands of Indian professionals to work in America. Trump has expressed support for the program in the past, so that concern from the Indian side seems to have been addressed over the past few months.
US President Donald Trump has previously called India a very big abuser on trade and urged it to buy more American-made security equipment to move towards a fair two-way trading relationship. The Indian Prime Minister, on the other hand, wants to boost his Made in India strategy as cordially as possible. India-US relationship for the next 4 years would ride high on the two leaders' mutual friendship and diplomatic tactics to support their individual countries' interests. With Shashank Mattu, Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all in this edition of World Today. But before I go, let's quickly take you through all other news making headlines in the world today.
The US President Donald Trump signed a proclamation on Sunday recognizing 9th February as the first ever Gulf of America Day. President Trump had signed an executive order on 20th January, his inauguration day, giving the Department of the Interior 30 days to take all appropriate action needed to facilitate the name change of Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has rejected US President Donald Trump's Gaza proposal. The Turkish president said that there's no point in discussing what the US president's proposed plan to take over the war-ravaged Gaza Strip. After his return to the White House, Trump shattered decades of US policy with a vaguely worded announcement saying he envisioned building a resort in Gaza where international communities could live in harmony. The enclave was devastated after 16 months of Israeli bombardment, which killed more than 47,000 people as per Palestinian tallies. Donald Trump attended one of the biggest sporting events in the world, the Super Bowl in New Orleans, as the Philadelphia Eagles clinched this year's Super Bowl with an emphatic 40-22 victory over defending champions in the Kansas City Chiefs. The US President Donald Trump, along with his daughter Ivanka, were at the gallery watching the game. And with that, Donald Trump became the first sitting president to do so in person.